Inclusive.
Friendly.
Annoying.
Welcoming.
Divided.
I would probably say quite divided. They do kind of integrate in certain areas, like the town, but like in regards to the actual areas, people do kind of just stay in the area that they kind of grew up in.
Probably difficult.
Split.
Potential.
It's very different.
Diverse.
Fun.
I believe Portadown is underdeveloped because there's a lot of facilities that closed down due to lack of funding and haven't been rebuilt.
I would say wavy, as it constantly has its ups and downs that just run along its course with, the mix of communities and all the events going around. Just like a wave, if you manage to catch it along, you can ride along just fine.
Home.
There are lots of volunteering opportunities for young people, especially in Portadown, in the Craigavon area, such as Oasis, YMCA, St Mary's. Lots of small activities and groups to get together.
There's youth groups and like volunteering, good education here as well.
There's many opportunities in Portadown, such as youth groups. An example of that would be Oasis. Plus there's many extracurricular activities available at school as well.
There are varying opportunities for young people in Portadown, such as youth groups.
I mean, from what I've been able to gather, there seems to be a good bit of opportunities compared to some other neighbouring countries, as in there's a good bit of, youth groups that people can join, there's a good bit of hobbies people can pick up, as well as the education seeming pretty on point, seems to be on a good standard at least, so.
Well, volunteering, there's so much, like even look at Oasis, like we have opportunities to volunteer literally every day of the week. Or we'll come in to get involved every day of the week, and then volunteering during term time we have it on like at least twice a week, and then holidays we have so much going on, and then like within the actual town itself, like we have a bunch of schools in here, we have like a tech for people to like specialise in stuff. I would say that like in Portadown there's like a lot for like the younger kids though to do, like parks and stuff like that, but I find that for like older ones like myself, I kind of tend to have like youth club, but then I would kind of go somewhere else more to like do stuff.
Behind communities, Oasis, Scotch Street. You can do a lot of volunteering work with all those people, and there's a job centre near my house where I live. You can find jobs there, volunteering opportunities.
Like there's a lot of like volunteer groups and for young people to get invested in.
I myself do volunteer work at schools and youth centres like this one.
A lot of local jobs that are present for them, and a lot of clubs that they can join, like youth clubs, go every night, every week. There's also a lot of sports clubs, art clubs and music clubs that they can join to spend their free time.
I did volunteering at Oasis's summer scheme last month, and last year and the years before I've raised some money for charities and donated quite significant amounts to like different organisations.
I take part in volunteering at Oasis, and from that I get to talk to different people and learn about different cultures and learn how to treat other people.
I engage in my civic journey through volunteering through Oasis. I feel very true to myself here while carrying out my duties, and I feel a sense of belongingness here.
I mean, honestly, joining a youth club has been one of the best things that I've done ever since I arrived here, but I do think I could honestly call it a second home, so I can tell that the community is very warming, and I should honestly maybe put more heart into it.
The local community with like certain issues that we have in here, for example like food poverty, and I've had like a lot of chances to do social actions, like I couldn't even name all of them, because like with like almost every project that we do we have like a social action going on. And then I like vote, but like I'm not really as involved in politics here. I know that there are like offices and like MLAs that you can like contact, but I don't really know that much about that.
I take part in multiple programs such as United Communities. I take groups from Lurgan, Portadown. I go to youth forum in Oasis and occasionally help out in Scotch Street. So I want to help other people.
Probably with like the LGBTQ community, as a part of that, it's very easy to make friends in it and be able to make connections there.
I help people with disabilities because I'm in a course where it's open to people with disabilities, and I myself have one, so I help them and get an education.
Through volunteering, I've been doing volunteering for a good couple of years now. It's a good way of expressing yourself, and it's very inclusive, and you can just be who you are, and others have a chance to be who they are as well.
Volunteering for my local youth club and going to the Air Cadets. I volunteered at a local youth club as a young leader.
There's not enough places for young people to meet up safely. Really, there's quite a scarce amount. There's just the youth clubs and a couple of buildings that are youth friendly. The whole food poverty, a lot of small kids and young people all the way through school, they get free meals. After primary school, the meal isn't actually a meal. They barely get enough to cover basic nutrition. And I have gone and had speeches, and I've talked to people.
I feel passionate about equal rights and for like everyone to be accepted and stuff. But it's a very difficult thing to achieve here because there's so many different opinions on this sort of thing.
I feel most passionate about racism. It's not a major issue, but it is certainly a topic that is of controversy here.
I feel passionate about the education system. I feel like it could be improved upon. I feel like there could be more chances for a broader range of people to give them a fair education.
People should be nicer in like the area.
It's mostly just the mixed community, as you know, the multiple generations, the multiple religions, and like all the multiple beliefs and everything do cause a lot of havoc, and there have been reported many incidents that even I pick up on, and I don't even read the news or check up on social media much. So it really does show how problematic it can become if it is kept out of hand, and the fact that both adults and even younger children are getting involved does kind of worry me. So I try not to get much involved, but I don't even know where I could have much of a word in it. But if I could, I would definitely try.
I feel most passionate about mental health. I think in this day and age, there's a lot of misinformation, or in general a lack of information about it. So I think that's kind of like the main thing. And I study psychology at university, so you can see that's one of my interests.
Probably mental health. You can't see it, but it's always there. Mental health is an issue everyone faces, no matter where you are, where you go to school, anything. So I want to try to help people who have that. Like, they're anxious about this subject. I want to help them and help them achieve their best in that subject.
Issue of like homophobia and racism in Portadown, as there's like a lot of people in here that are very close-minded.
Homophobia and racism. So I'm part of the LGBTQ plus community myself, and just racism has always just kind of got to me because I just see people as people.
Drug abuse. I know people who have substance abuse with drugs, and it's a very difficult topic.
Racism, because as I was growing up, I would have to deal with racism throughout school. I feel very passionate about child poverty, as I personally grew up in poverty, and I can imagine what those kids must be going through, especially the younger ones in schools.
I don't feel like I would have much of a word as someone who isn't from here, because I could state my opinion, but what effect would I have unless I have something to back it up, I guess?
The general media and just peer pressure, as I would be hated for it. School and work prevents me from having the time to do it, and there's also a lack of a platform for me to speak up about these issues.
Portadown has, like, it is quite a olden view on things. There is quite like closed-minded people in Portadown, so probably where I live.
Probably identifying the issues, because people hide, like, people just walk into class, head down, don't want to talk to anyone. If you can't speak up, then how are other people supposed to know you need help?
Probably funding, as is the issue with everything really. I feel like, especially if you look at like all of the UK, I feel like Northern Ireland has kind of like the worst rep regarding mental health, and I feel like a lot of it could come down to like funding and just lack of resources.
I only have a single voice, and in the grand scheme of things, it isn't enough to make definite change.
I feel like one voice isn't enough, and there's not a chamber where you can be heard.
That people just constantly ignore you.
Definitely more places for young people to hang out, because right now I know that a lot of young people probably just stay at home because there's nowhere for them to just hang out. If we were to, say, talk to the council or the government about using old buildings that are no longer being used for their purpose, like building skate parks, building more youth centres, more places for them to hang out so that they're safe.
I'd like to see like safer areas for people to like meet up and hang out, because there's not very many around here and people like end up going to sketchy parts of town that aren't safe. If maybe there's better funding into sort of youth groups, that could help the community better, because it would make us a lot safer and make it a better spot to be with your friends and stuff.
For them to be nicer to like everyone around them. Parents could like tell them what to do, like what's wrong and right.
I feel like there needs to be more employment for young people, especially teenagers, because there's not that many advertisements about like people with no experience and them getting jobs. There needs to be more job fairs for young people and give them more information about how to join the corporation or job.
I like to see young people with disabilities, whether that be physically or mentally, be helped and give them support through education.
Be more involved in the community, because like, I mean, for Portadown, like we have so many youth clubs for young people to get involved in, so I feel like, you know, just kind of have them actually leave the house and get involved in the community. That would be pretty good. I feel like there's only so much that like outside forces can really do, because you can't really force someone to leave if they don't want to. You can't force someone to come in if they don't want to. So just kind of making them aware, like we have these spaces, these are the things we have going on for you, like you can get involved. But I feel like for them it would be kind of more like within, they would have to make the conscious decision to go.
Probably access to more things to do, like there's a closed down pool and a health centre. You can turn that into an arcade or something fun for people to hang around, because not everywhere here is safe. Probably more funding and just a push. People don't know that there is a problem unless people say there is a problem.
Them being more open for like other people and new people that just are around the place, that live here.
Getting kids off the streets and stopping them. There's many people nowadays who are young, like 11, 12, drug abusing, and to get them off the streets and off of drugs.
Probably work in schools with young people so they're more open-minded later on in life.
Helping them get rid of their drug abuse, sending them to programs, therapies, different stuff like that.
I would like to see a lot more young people getting involved in things within the community and having a voice in the community as well. More advertising on like youth clubs and just a lot more like projects being out there.
Action to be taken towards racism, so spreading the awareness.
I would like to see more support from adults and from schools for younger people who might be struggling at home.
By acting now, by spreading the awareness on social media.
I believe schools could offer more support for struggling families, especially by providing school lunches during school and providing school uniforms for people who are struggling with poverty.
Excited.
Unsure.
Drastic.
Fun.
Uncertain.
Worried.
Unknowing.
I feel scared because I don't feel like the adults will provide a platform for younger people to speak up about their issues.
Hopeful.
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 Probably hopeful.
Hopeful.
hopeful because I think Portadown as a whole can improve in the future.
From what I can see, I would say it's kind of blank, as in, I mean, there's so much space to work with, there's potential, definitely. It's just the fact that, well, considering the unpredictability of everything around us, we don't really know where it could go, but you could really lead this place into something